So we'll go and read the second text also. Gita dhyayana shilasya pranayama parasya cha naiva shantihi papani purvajanma krutani cha. So this is the second shloka. So Sneha Mataji would like to read the translation.
Yes, Mataji. If
Please
one
go ahead.
reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him.
Yeah. So this is a nice verse. It talks about if you read Bhagavad Gita sincerely and seriously, so then all your past reactions, past misdeeds that you have done, all those reactions will be vanished, is what it talks about. So you all know about karma, right? Law of karma. So whatever activities that we perform, so if we do good activities, you have good karma in place. You will have to face the reactions of good karma. If you do bad activities, you'll have to face the reactions of bad karma. So, but if you read Bhagavad Gita, all your bad actions that you have done in the past will all be vanquished. So, isn't it nice?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next shloka, Maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrut gitamrita snanam samsara malanashanam. Anyone would like to read the translation of the third shloka?
I am reading Mataji.
Yeah, please go ahead, Prabhu.
One may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water, but if one take a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him, that of material life is altogether vanished.
So this shloka talks about we clean our body with by taking bath twice in a day, right? So but how about the inner dirt that we gather, like greed, lust, anger? So these are all inner dust, and how do we clean that inner dust is by bathing in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, means that you are bathing in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, all your internal dust will be vanquished. गीतासु गीतकर्तव्य किमन्यै शस्त्रविस्तरै यस्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्मं विनिश्रिता. So who would like to go next for the translation?
I'll go, Mataji.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, the people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you, Mataji. So this shloka is talking about, so if you have to read all the Vedic literature, our lifetime will not be sufficient, because we will not be able to understand in the age of Kali, and we don't have proper teachers to teach the Vedas, and you will not be able to understand also. Within all this midst of all mundane activities that we do, it is not possible for us also to read all the Vedic literatures. But you don't need to worry, because Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic literatures. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, that will be sufficient. You don't need to read all the Vedas also. And it is difficult. We cannot absorb the knowledge. We cannot also read the knowledge of the Vedas. So this one book, Bhagavad Gita, will be sufficient to understand the essence of all Vedic literatures, because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bharatamruta sarvasvam Vishnuvakrad Vinishritam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanma Navidyate. Who wants to read translation? Abhishek Prabhu, you would like to read? Nishnati. Achanta Nishnati, I'm not sure.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, please
Can I
go
read
ahead.
it?
Yeah.
By drinking the Ganges Ganges water of the Gita, the divine quintessence of the Mahabharata, emanating from the holy lotus mouth of Lord Vishnu, one will never take rebirth in the material world again. In other words, by devotionally reciting the Gita, the cycle of birth and death is terminated.
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, I pronounced your name wrongly. Nishnati or Nishnati?
Nishnati Mataji.
Nishnati. Haribol. Nice name, Mataji.
Thank
So,
you, Mataji.
yeah, so this text is talking about if you drink the Ganges waters of Gita. So Gita is known as a summary of it is taken from Mahabharata, right? You all know about it. So, and it is coming from the lotus mouth of Lord Vishnu. So the Gita is talked by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And if you hear it, you will not be taking rebirth again in this material world. So the cycle of birth and death is terminated. So the cycle of birth and death is like a miserable thing, right? If you have to take birth again and again in the material world, you read the same ABCDs and same languages, and you do same things again and again. You get married and you produce children, and you work hard and you die. You have a old age disease, etc. And again, you will have to repeat the same birth and death life cycle. It is not happy, right? So you will be coming out of that birth and death by reading or by drinking the Ganges water of the Gita. It means by reading, hearing, understanding, applying the knowledge of Gita. Sarvopanishado gavo dugdha gopala nandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham Gitamrutam mahat. Who wants to read this translation?
I will go, Mataji.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji.
All the Upanishads are like a cow, and the milker of the cow is Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf, the beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk.
Thank you, Mataji. So here this shloka is talking about, like in the previous shlokas also we have discussed about all the essence of Vedic literature is Bhagavad Gita, right? So here it is said all the Upanishads are like a cow and the milker is Lord Shri Krishna. And who is drinking that milk? The calf called Arjuna. And so through Arjuna we are also drinking that milk. So who are devotees of the Lord, who has intellect, theistic intellect. So they are not atheists, they believe in God, is called theists. So atheistic intellects are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. So we are all devotees who are trying to read Bhagavad Gita. The essence is given by Lord Shri Krishna as a milker from all the Upanishads, and it is given to Arjuna and it is also given to all of us through Arjuna. So this is the last shloka. So you kindly repeat after me. I'll read one sentence and you kindly repeat after me. Ekam shastram devaki putra geetam.
Ekam shastram
Shastram
devaki
Devaki
putra
Putra
geetam.
Eko devo devaki putra eva.
एको देव देवकी पुत्र एव
Eko mantrastasya namani yani.
एको मन्त्रस्य तस्य नामान्यानि
Karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva.
कर्मापि एकं तस्य देवस्य ये सेवा.
So who would like to read the translation? Sai Prabhu, you would like to read?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
There need to be only one holy scripture, the divine Gita, sung by Lord Sri Krishna. Only one worshipable Lord Sri Krishna. Only one mantra, his holy names, and only one duty, devotional service unto that supreme worshipable Lord Sri Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is the most famous and important shloka. Ekam Shastram. There is only one scripture. What is it? Devaki Putra Geetam, which is called Bhagavad Gita. Who is Devaki Putra? Krishna
Shri
himself,
Krishna.
right? Yeah. So Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. There is only one Lord. Who is that one Lord? Devaki Putra. So Lord Shri Krishna.
భయం భయంగా ఉంటుంది.
And Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani. There is only one mantra That is Lord's holy names. Asya namani yani. So what is that mantra? Do you all know?
Hare Krishna Maha.
Shall we recite all together? Please unmute yourself. We'll recite Hare Krishna mantra one time and then we'll get into the subject. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
So karma pi ekam tasya devasya seva. Karma is also only one. The activities that we do, right? That is also only one, which is devotional service to the Lord. Tasya devasya seva. So only one shastra, one God, one mantra, one service. Service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, so, taking his holy names, and he is the only Lord. And ekam shastram, only one. There need be only one holy scripture, which is Bhagavad Gita. So this is the realization of Sripad Adi Shankaracharya during his ending of the life, not in the beginning of the life, but ending of the life. So do you all understand why do we need Bhagavad Gita now? Okay. So we'll just get into a small activity before we get started. So what exactly is your excuse not reading scriptures or not doing spiritual practice? So we all have excuses not doing some things, right? For example, if you have to spiritual, if you have to do a spiritual learning, spiritual journey to start with, so what would be your excuses? We'll discuss about the excuses and then get into the subject. What is your biggest excuse if you have
Not
to
having
read?
time.
Not
Time.
having time. Excellent. Very good, Mataji. Nice mention. Any other excuses? You all
Not
agree?
having a
You not having
habit of reading.
habit of reading. Yeah, that's nice. Any other excuses? Work environment. Yeah, that's also right. So there are so many excuses like that, right? By not practicing spirituality. But if you learn all the 18 chapters, Krishna leaves us with no more excuses. If someone is good at making excuses, then you would never be good in anything else than making excuses in life. Okay, so we want to conclude Gita in realizing there is no excuse, and our spiritual journey must go forward. So we will be doing that after 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita reading. So one of the common excuses that you already mentioned is I don't have time. So my life is hectic and demanding so many things I have to attend to, etc. Right? So it is all relatable. Relatable or not? So you all have to do so many things.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So people think only monks, brahmacharis can do devotion and do spiritual practice because they are not married, they don't work, they don't have children, they don't have to do any household duties, etc., etc. These are all reasons, right? But let us think about whom did Krishna tell Bhagavad Gita to? Whom did Krishna tell Bhagavad Gita to?
Arjuna.
Arjuna.
Arjuna. Excellent. So Arjuna is married. Arjuna have children and family. Arjuna has a household to run. Arjuna also has a career and job duty to perform. So Arjuna has more responsibilities than us, but still Arjuna has time for spirituality. Arjuna is the greatest devotee. You all know that, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
So, if in the first chapter of Gita, we systematically see how this excuse of not having time just doesn't stand up. So, there are 640 million soldiers on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, they are arranged like pieces on the chessboard. And there are millions of soldiers, millions of fighters, animals like horses and elephants, thousands of chariots, Atmosphere is very serious. Conches are blowing, and the sound of all conches is deafening. In the midst of all of that, Arjuna, who is the most important person on the whole battlefield, so much expectations on him, so much pressure on him, all eyes are on him because he is the supreme archer. You all know he is a great archer, right? Arjuna is a great archer, and he won lot of wars, and he won lot of medals, weapons from demigods, etc. So in the middle of all of that intensity, what did Arjuna say to Krishna? Arjuna said, Senayor bhayor madhye radam sthapayami achyuta yavadeta niriksheham yodhu kamanavasthitan. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, Krishna, please take my chariot to in the middle of the armies. So why he is asking like that? Because he wants to take some time reflecting on what is just about to happen. So can any of us say we have more intense, more chaotic, more demanding situation than Arjuna? Do we have? We don't have, right?
No.
So the excuse of not having time is not an excuse now. Okay, so in our lives today, super important mantra is life is not about having time, it's about making time. So if you are going in a car on a long journey, if someone asks you, did you fill up with petrol? If you say I don't have time, does it make any sense? No, right? And imagine you are about to walk into an exam and one of your friends asks you, did you revise? If you say I don't have time, does it make any sense?
No.
No, right? So because whatever you study, if you don't revise, you'll not be able to put forward in your exams, right? So that is most important thing. So imagine you took bath and came to a dining table to have breakfast, and one of your family members, like your brother, sister, or mother, father, did they ask you, did you brush your teeth? So, and you said, I don't have time. Does it make any sense at all? No, right?
No.
So similarly, we need in our lives today. Super important mantra is, as I told you, the life is not about having time; it's about making time. So in each of these situations, if you say, "I don't have time," the person who asked that question think, what do they think? They think you're crazy, right? Isn't it? So if you're not speaking or asking questions, please go on mute. So let's all, including me, to ensure we have time for spirituality. Life is fast, life is hectic, life is not going to get any slower, but it will become more double speed in the coming years. But let's make a resolution. We'll make time for spirituality, just like Arjuna made times for spirituality in the midst of all the things that he is doing. So we should also be reading, making time to read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc. So you don't need to dedicate all your time, but at least 1 or 2 hours a day, you need to practice spirituality and understand the purpose of life, understand how to deal with the situations and how to be happy in your life and how to go back to a permanent world where there is no uh, birth, old age, disease, and death. So otherwise, our life, uh, so so because right, otherwise our life, what direction it is leading in? There's a quote by Dalai Lama. So somebody asked him, what amazes you most about people? And you know what is his answer? He said, people sacrifice their health to get wealth, but later on they spend that same wealth to get their health back. Isn't it true? You all agree?
Yes, Mataji.
True,
Yes,
true.
Mataji.
So we don't have time to do spirituality because we are over endeavoring to earn money. That wealth, how are we using? We are using for hospitals only, right? Most of us. So let us not be doing that. So let us not go into an excuse. And so we'll get into the uh, context of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is a song. Gita is a song, right? You all know Gita means song. Bhagavad Gita means the song sung by God. Bhagavan is God, and Bhagavad Gita is a song sung by God. So the Bhagavad Gita is called as the song of God. the word of God in person, directly spoken by God. So every word in Bhagavad Gita, most of it is spoken by Lord Shri Krishna. The conversation is between Arjuna and Shri Krishna, a man and God. And it has 18 chapters and 700 verses. And it was spoken in the battlefield of Kurukshetra just 5,000 years ago on the Earth planet. So, because Kali Yuga started just 5,000 years ago after the Kurukshetra war, so this scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna during the war, and it is about 5,000 years ago. So it is not like a one-off scripture like other scriptures, but it is a great scripture spoken thousands of times in this and other universes, not only on the earth, but even other universes also. So this knowledge is also called as a king of education and also a confidential knowledge, the most secret of all secrets. How many of the population in the world are getting to Bhagavad Gita? Very less, right? Not everybody. So that this is secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. So it is not just an information, but if you read it, understand it, apply it, it makes you transformation. It gives you transformation. So that is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and also joyfully performed. This is spoken by none other than Lord Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9.2. So Bhagavad Gita is not a storybook. It is a philosophical book, and as I mentioned, it has 700 shlokas. And this book, you don't find any stories like Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam has a lot of stories, but this Bhagavad Gita do not have any stories. There's a lot of philosophy and philosophical discussions. Some people want to read Bhagavad Gita to become great scholars. Did you see anybody like that? No? So reciting the verses and talking about philosophy, they feel proud about it and they want to read it only for that. Do you know anybody like that?
Yes,
In
Mataji.
general,
In
yeah, if you see
Sulita,
some of the Swamijis, not real Swamijis, but there are fake Swamijis as well, right? So they do this kind of propaganda of reading philosophy and showcasing the show bottle spiritualism is what Prabhupada calls about. So they read Bhagavad Gita to become great scholars and to get name, fame, money, etc. Becoming a scholar is not the should not be the end product of reading Bhagavad Gita. Scholarship would be an insignificant byproduct of reading Bhagavad Gita, but the end product is transformation of heart, development of love for Krishna. So transformation happens when you understand and when you assimilate and when you apply it in your lives. So that becomes transformation. And you will also be, so because when you have to love somebody, you should know about that person, right? So, do you love somebody whom you do not know? Does it happen?
No, it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. So if you do not know about God, how will you love God? You will not be able to, right? So development of love for Krishna also happens when you read Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna also reveal himself about who he is and what are his activities, etc., right? What are his opulences, where does he live, etc., everything will be revealed in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna also speaks about several qualities of a devotee, so we need to cultivate character. So development of good character should be one of the end products of Bhagavad Gita, and ultimately developing for the Lord. So transformation, development of character, development of love for Krishna, and compassion for all living beings, from an insignificant ant to an elephant to the human being, etc., right? So you will have compassion, you will have love for all the living beings, because God loves every living being created by him. That's the reason why if you are loving God, you will also love the creatures, the creation and the creatures created by God. So that will be the end product of reading Bhagavad Gita. So you'll also get knowledge and scholarship. That is anyway a byproduct, but that should not be the aim. That should not be the mood. The mood should be to understand Bhagavad Gita, to apply the principles given by Lord Shri Krishna. So we will also be getting to know about Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, etc. Um, we need to attain, after reading Bhagavad Gita, as I mentioned, transformation of character, love for God, humility for all living beings. These are the three end products, and scholarship is a byproduct that anyway you don't need to worry about. And let's discuss about the structure of Gita. Before we get started with the first chapter, there is one great commentator, Acharya, whose name is Vishwanath, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad. He compared Bhagavad Gita to be a beautiful jewel box. You all can see my screen, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
So he compared the Bhagavad Gita with a beautiful jewel box. So in this jewel box, there are 3 yogas, right? So Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. Each of 3 sections are divided with 6 chapters each. And Gnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. Each yoga has 6 chapters each. So which is 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So he compared the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita called Karma Yoga as the bottom portion of the jewel box. And he compared the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita called as Gnana Yoga to the top lid of the jewel box. And he compared Bhakti Yoga as the jewel within the jewel box, which is the essence of all the yogas. So now that we are talking about yoga, what is yoga?
Meditation.
Meditation.
Uniting with the Paramatma.
Union with God.
Uniting with the God. Okay. So basically, so when the word yoga comes in the Kali Yuga, in the recent ages, yoga is nothing but doing some asanas, breathing techniques, and going into meditation, all of that, right? But the yoga here is not that yoga. Yoga is connecting our consciousness, linking our consciousness with God, is called as yoga. So when you say karma yoga, you link your consciousness with the God through your activity. So whatever karma that you do, you link your consciousness through that activity with God. So that is karma yoga. And gnana yoga, if you connect your consciousness with God through gnana, through knowledge, it is called gnana yoga. And bhakti yoga, if you do connect your consciousness with with God, with bhakti, with devotional service, it is called bhakti yoga. Okay, but why bhakti yoga is the essence of all the yogas? Because when you do bhakti, you will do all of the yogas. And there's something called ashtanga yoga also, which comes under gnana yoga only. Ashtanga yoga, I think it used to be done in previous ages, but not now. The rishis and munis go to a secluded place and do they control the air, yama, niyama, asana, pratyahara, dharana, etc., right? So there are 8 things that they do, that is called ashtanga yoga, which is also part of gnana yoga. So all these yogas are done when you do bhakti yoga. How is it possible? Anybody has any idea?
They control their senses.
Okay. Anyone else wants to give it a try?
They try not having any desires.
Okay. Okay, so when you say bhakti yoga, you do devotional service. That means activities related to devotional service, like creating flower service, or going to temple, or reading Bhagavad Gita is also a service to the God, and giving that knowledge to others is also service to God. So whatever activity you do it with connection with the God. That is bhakti yoga, and that is also a karma yoga. But you are doing it with bhakti, so it became a bhakti yoga. So doing activities is karma yoga, is what we mentioned, right? But doing activities as a devotional service is bhakti yoga. So when you are doing bhakti, you will do karma yoga also. So you will do gnana yoga also, because you will try to understand God by reading scriptures of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So you will be able to understand God and get that knowledge, right? So that is called gnana yoga. So you're connecting your consciousness by reading with God, by reading the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So that means you're also doing Gnana Yoga. And how are you doing Dhyana Yoga? So you do meditation. Japa meditation. Mantra meditation, you all know about it, right? So all the devotees do certain number of malas every day. So most of them do 16 malas, and some of them who have really started recently, probably they do one mala, two malas, based upon their time and their spiritual knowledge. And initially they start with slowly, with less number of rounds only. So that is doing mantra meditation, that is dhyana yoga. So when you are doing bhakti, you all do everything. So that's the reason why essence of all the yogas is bhakti yoga. But others, if you do karma yoga, you will not be doing all other things. And you do gnana yoga, you will not be doing all other things. But we will go into detail when it comes to the other chapters, right? We will get into more details of it. So why Krishna is called Bhagavan? So we discussed about Bhagavan sang a song. So why did Krishna, why was Krishna called as Bhagavan? Shaktivan, anybody knows? Dhanvan, Shaktivan. Shaktivan means what? A person who has lot of Shakti, right? Power,
Energy, yeah.
energy. So Bhagavan means so Krishna has 6 opulences in full. So that is called who has 6 opulences. Bhaga means opulences. Who has all the 6 opulences in full is called Bhagavan. Name, fame, wealth, renunciation, everything. There are 6 opulences we'll discuss in further chapters. So all of them in full. For example, if somebody has wealth, he cannot claim he has wealth of all universes, right? That's only God who has all that wealth. And all attractive, all beautiful. Somebody may be beautiful, but he or she cannot be beautiful across all the universes, and that beauty also is temporary. So they cannot claim that beauty in their old age, right? So but Krishna is always in youthful stage, and he's always beautiful irrespective of time. So time will not impact Krishna's beauty, Krishna's wealth, Krishna's opulences, etc. But in on the earth, there may be some living being who is beautiful, but only temporary, but not permanent. So we'll get into the next slide. So Bhagavad Gita, first chapter is Bhagavad Gita is spoken in the context of war. So you all know that, right? Do you all know the context is war?
Yes.
Yes,
You all
Mataji.
know it, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
One second. Just okay. Second, I'm not able to move this. Let me reshare. You all still can see my screen?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Mataji.
Okay. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the context of war on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So, but the content of Bhagavad Gita is life. You see, out of 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, we hardly find 10 speaking about Yuddha, war, speaking about war. So Bhagavad Gita is not a scripture, not an instruction spoken by the Supreme Lord to inspire a fighting spirit in Arjuna. Basically, Arjuna is acting as an instrument in Krishna's hands. When we see Krishna is teaching Arjuna, so we should not think that Arjuna is like us. Arjuna is an exalted devotee, and he is a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and he knows everything. But Krishna puts him in confusion so that he can teach Bhagavad Gita through Arjuna to all of us. So that is the intent. So when we say Arjuna is asking questions, Arjuna gets confused. Arjuna says, I don't want to fight. it doesn't mean that Arjuna is not having that knowledge. Arjuna is the greatest devotee and he is an intimate associate of Lord Shri Krishna in his dham. So like when CM or PM comes and visits one of the states, right? So their associates will come and make the arrangements for CM and PM. So the same way when Krishna appears in the world, his associates also will come and accompany him. So Arjuna is one of the associates of Krishna, and he is also called as Vishakha Saki in Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. So Arjuna is not a normal human being like us. So we should not be comparing Arjuna with us. But Arjuna was used as an instrument by Krishna to give that knowledge to us. So we should remember that. Okay. So how to live life is a context. And there are 5 important topics that Bhagavad Gita talks about. These are the 5 universally relevant topics that Bhagavad Gita talks about in each of the chapters. So one is Jiva, who am I? And another is Ishvara, who is God. And Prakriti, what is this world? Kala, what is the time? Karma, how to act, what is the reaction? These are the 5 relevant topics that we will be discussing in the further chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So you can remember like Jiva, Jagad, Jagadish, Kala, Karma. 3J, 2K kind of abbreviation that you can remember. Jiva is who am I? Jagat is Prakriti. Jagadish is God, Ishvara. Kala is time. Karma is the action. Action and the reaction to the action. So these are the 5 different topics that we will be discussing in Bhagavad Gita. In overall Bhagavad Gita, we will be discussing about these 5 different topics. So let's get into the first chapter. Observing the armies is the name of the first chapter. So let's see the background in which Bhagavad Gita is spoken. You know Hastinapur, right? Kingdom Hastinapur. Now it is New Delhi. Is ruled by the Kuru dynasty. Kuru dynasty, you know, right? Dhritarashtra and Pandu Maharaj are brothers, but unfortunately, Pandu Maharaj died. So Pandu had 2 wives, Kunti and Madri. You all know about it, right? So Kunti had 3 sons, Yudhishthira, Bhima, and Arjun, and Madri had 2 sons, Nakul and Sahadev. But unfortunately, Pandu Maharaj died, and along with him, Madri also takes the Sati Sahagaman, and she also dies. So Kunti became the caretaker of these 5 children. So Kunti always considered that she had 5 children, not 3 children, right from the beginning. So she considered that she had 5 sons and she always protected and maintained them. So Dhritarashtra had 100 sons headed by Duryodhan, and Duryodhan by nature is very selfish, and is not only selfish, is greedy, arrogant, and Duryodhan always wanted to eliminate these 5 Pandavas. So when Bhima was a small child, so what did Duryodhana do? He gave poison to Bhima. You all know that story, right? Do you know?
Yes,
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes,
Yeah, he
Mataji.
tried to kill him by giving poison, and they also tried to kill the Pandavas by setting fire to their house. In this way, they did many atrocities. And in gambling match, what did they do? They had a conspiracy, right? So in the gambling match, they took away their kingdom and even disrobed, not disrobed, but attempted to disrobe Draupadi. And they insulted Draupadi. Of course, Krishna helped her, protected her. But they insulted Draupadi in public and they used the kingdom of the Pandavas. In this way, they did so many atrocities and they had sent Pandavas to exile for 13 years. You all know that, right? 13 years they had to be in the forest. And after 13 years, when they came back, Duryodhan said, I cannot return the kingdom. Krishna came to negotiate. Krishna ran all the peaceful negotiations. Still, Duryodhan was so obstinate, so greedy, so selfish, and so arrogant that he said, I cannot give even that much of land that can be accommodated under the tip of a needle. So, see his arrogance. So, he doesn't, the entire kingdom is theirs, and because Pandu Maharaj was the king of the entire Hastinapura, uh, and as a as a heir of Pandu Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj should be on the throne. But still, they wanted to take away their kingdom. So that is their greediness. So then he also created so many troubles for Pandavas, and Krishna has protected them from all of them. But this is the background where Pandavas and Kauravas, actually all of them are Kauravas only. But Dhritarashtra always considers his own 100 sons as Kauravas, and he always separates the Pandavas. So now they have assembled on the battlefield with so many of their several supporters. So each of them they have supporters, right? So now this is the context of the war. So Bhagavad Gita begins with Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjaya. So you all know the first this thing, right? So we'll also discuss what are the topics that are covered in first chapter. So initially Dhritarashtra questions to Sanjaya, and Duryodhana compares the armies on both the sides, and the conch shells will be blown from both the parties, Kaurava side as well as Pandava's side, but victory signs will be coming for Pandavas only. And then after that, the just before the war has to be begun, Arjuna gets confusion. Arjuna is confused, and he also says that I don't want to fight, and he gives 4 reasons for not fighting. So that is about first chapter. We'll go in detail for each of the topics. So what did Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya is what is the first this thing, first shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavah mamakah pandavaschaiva kimakurvata Sanjaya. So what is Dhritarashtra asking? Dhritarashtra uvacha is Dhritarashtra is speaking. Dharmakshetre kurukshetre. So Dharmakshetra is a holy place. Dharmakshetra means holy place. That holy place is known as Kurukshetra. Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra is a great holy place, and it's a pilgrimage also. And Samaveta Yutsava, and they are excited, enthusiastic to fight with each other. Yutsavaha means enthusiasm. Samaveta, equally enthusiastic to fight with each other. Mamakaha means my sons. Dhritarashtra is saying my sons, and Pandavas Chaiva, Pandavas sons. So they have assembled in the Dharmakshetra called Kurukshetra, and they are all eager to fight. Enthusiasm is there to fight with each other. And what did they do? Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra is asking, what did they do? If somebody is on the dining table and every dish is served, there are 10 to 15 dishes available on the dining table, everybody sitting together. And if someone asks asks you what are you trying to do, then is it a right question or wrong question?
It's
So
a wrong
obviously they will eat, right?
Yeah.
So Dhritarashtra is asking, so they are assembled to fight, and they're eager to fight with each other for the kingdom. And he's asking, what did they do? So, but it is not a dumb question. So we'll discuss why did he ask that question. So because he has 4 things in mind, that's the reason why he asked, what did they do? He's greedy, he's doubtful, he's hopeful, and he's fearful. There are 4 things that are there in mind for him. That's one of the reasons he asked, what did they do? So now that this is a background where Pandavas and Kauravas, actually all of them Kauravas as we discussed. And so now that Bhagavad Gita begins with Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjaya, because he is the king, and he is supposed to participate in the war because Dhritarashtra is the king. However, he was blind and he did not participate. He was sitting in the palace, but he wants updates about the war. So he has a minister called Sanjaya. And Sanjaya is sitting next to Dhritarashtra, and he has that vision to see the war from the palace that he is in, because he is a disciple of Vyasadev, and Vyasadev has blessed him with this ability to envision wherever it is happening, whatever is happening, he can see it from wherever he is. So that is the blessing by Vyasadev. So he is able to envision what is going on in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he is visualizing what's happening on the battlefield, and he is able to see, and he is able to narrate everything to Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra is hearing whole conversation between Krishna and Arjuna and all the things that are happening on the battlefield. That's how Bhagavad Gita begins. So in the beginning of the first chapter, there are 5 topics that we already discussed, right? So now that Dhritarashtra is separating out all his sons and his Pandu sons, because he has 100 sons. If he adds 5 more, it should be only 5% of addition, right? There is nothing harm in adding 5 more sons when he has 100 sons, but he is not ready to do that. When you say Kunti Maharani, when you see her, she has 3 sons and she accepted at least 50% more, 100% more, 80% of 2 more to her children, but she never felt like there are additional burden for her, right? So she treated equally. But Pandu is Dhritarashtra is brother of Pandu. In the absence of Pandu, Dhritarashtra should become father, but he did not take that responsibility. So that shows his selfishness, greediness, etc. Right? So he separated Pandu's sons and his sons. So that is his selfishness, and because Kunti Devi is a devotee, she never separated. She has treated all the sons, all the 5 sons equally. So that is the difference between Dhritarashtra and Kunti Devi. So Dhritarashtra is very greedy because he wants his own sons to be leading or ruling the kingdom. So when he is greedy for the kingdom, he desires that the kingdom of Hastinapur should come to his own sons. So he is very greedy. That's why he is asking that question. So whether they are fighting or not, because he wants his sons only to get the kingdom. So that is his desire. That shows his desire with greediness. And why is he doubtful? Because he also mentioned Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. So when we go to temple, when we want to have good thoughts, right? Do you agree? We also tell children not to behave bad or not to do wrong things when we are in temple or a holy place. So we do that, right? And we wanted to have nice thoughts when we are in temple or a holy place. Do you agree with me?
Yes, Mataji.
So, Dhritarashtra also is doubtful because that Kurukshetra is a Dharmakshetra, is a holy place. With the influence of that holy place, maybe my sons will feel like, okay, let us give the share of Pandavas to them, and let us be peaceful, and let us rule the kingdom together and things like that. He's doubtful, but he doesn't want that to happen. So, because of the influence of that holy place, their sons may be withdrawing the war and giving the share of Pandus equally, and not fighting with each other. That is his doubt because of the holy place. So but he doesn't want that to happen. So that is his doubt. That's reason, one of the reasons why he says, "What did they do?" And he is also fearful. Maybe because so uh, fear also is there, hopefulness is also there. Maybe Pandu's sons might give up because of the holy place. They don't want to fight, and because of the influence of the holy place, they don't want to fight, is what he is also hopeful. So he's doubtful, he's fearful whether if their sons will give up, and he's hopeful because he wants that to happen. He wants Pandu's sons to be compromising, and he doesn't want his sons to be compromising, because he wants, by at any cost, he wants that kingdom to his sons. So that is his thought process. That's the reason why he asked that question. He was thinking that maybe my sons will be compromising in the war, that may think that let us not be greedy for the kingdom, let us give the rightful share, etc., etc. So he feels that that should not be happening. So he doesn't want his sons to be compromised, and he wants Pandu's sons. He's hopeful that Pandu's sons should be compromising. So all of that, for that reason, he asked that question to Sanjaya. But you may also get a question like, why did Krishna not kill um, Kauravas? So why did he ask Arjuna to do it? Why didn't he take the weapon in the battlefield? Why did he instigated Arjuna to do the war? So you all know, right? Krishna, Duryodhan was doing. Krishna, when he was in Vrindavan, he has killed so many people, so many adharmic people. So why can't he do it for Kauravas also? Why didn't he personally battle with Kauravas? So that is a normal regular question that we may get, right? Do you all get that question?
Yes,
No?
Mataji.
Okay. So because Krishna wanted to give credit to his devotees. Even as a child in Vrindavan, but he was a less than 10 years old, but Krishna killed so many demons. So do you know so many demons? Most of them Putana, Trinavrata, Bakasura, Agasura, Vatsasura, Dhenukasura, Pralambasura. There are so many mystic demons, right? They're all very powerful. But still, he was at the below 10 years only. He has fought with all of them and killed all the demons. But here, why didn't he do it? He doesn't. He wants to give credit to Arjuna. So that is one of the reasons he is not fighting. And Krishna has killed so many powerful demons, and he also allowed his devotees to kill more popular demons, right? And if you remember this Samudra Manthan episode, you all know, right? Lord Vishnu, who has orchestrated entire Samudra Manthan, but he did not take the credit. So when poison came, he called Shiva. He would have taken poison, but why did he call Shiva? To give credit to Shiva. So now, if the entire Samudra Manthan episode comes to a discussion, who will be discussed most? Shiva or Vishnu?
Shiva. He took the
Shiva.
poison.
Shiva, right? Because he took the poison. So that is one of the reasons he calls Shiva, to give that credit and glorify Shiva. Because Krishna likes, takes pleasure in seeing his devotees more glorified than himself. So now in the battlefield, Krishna just did not take any weapon. He took the role of a chariot driver and assisted, but actually it was Krishna who is doing everything. Like Samudra Manthan also, he was the person who has done everything. Then even after they get the Amrit, they Mohini Devi has come in, right? Krishna only came in the form of Mohini Devi and ensured that the Amrit is given only to the Devatas, not the demons. So, and he was also taken avatar of Kurma, who is the base of the churning ocean, right? So he has done everything. He has, but he did not want to take the credit. He wants to give credit to his devotees. So now that he wants to establish dharma and he wants to uproot the weeds like Duryodhan from the dharma kshetre. So, but he wants to utilize Arjuna and he wants to give credit to Arjuna. That is the reason why he did not fight. So then 11 shlokas, Duryodhana compares his army. So Duryodhana is a highly diplomatic, a very intelligent person, highly diplomatic. He also is fearful, but he is also a diplomatic person. So what is he saying? He's comparing both the armies. So he's saying warriors like Drona. So he's comparing both the armies. So who has come from each of the sides? So warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, and many other people in our armies. He's telling to Dronacharya. And we are all headed by Bhishma, who is more experienced military general. And while Pandavas are headed by Bhima, who is not so experienced, right, when comparing to Bhishma. So he feels like I am in a better position and I'm more secure position than he said. And then he said like that. Basically, he was surprised to see such an elaborate arrangement of armies made by the Pandavas. So for Pandavas, who has guided that? Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna guided his Draupadi's brother. He guided all the Pandavas on the arrangement of armies. So he was very surprised to see such a great arrangement of the armies. But still, being a diplomatic person, Duryodhana wanted to hide all his fears in front of Dronacharya. So he said, we are in a better place because we have Bhishma, we have Drona, Karna, Krupa, Ashwatthama, etc. Right? So he says, but Bhima side, they are not very well experienced, so we are in a better position, is what he expressed. Some kind of false confidence he has expressed while hiding his fears. But to encourage his grandson Duryodhana, Bhima started blowing the conch shells. So 1.3 to 6 and 1.7 to 9. 7 to 9, Bhishma's army is described. 1.3 to 6, Bhima's army is described. So later on, so coming to the third concept, third topic of this first chapter. So blowing of conch shells happens.
Excuse me,
So after
Mataji. Excuse me, Mataji. How long this session continues? I thought 1 hour. That's what I am
so
just asking.
we have the introduction also, right? We'll complete in 10 minutes.
Thank
So
you,
usually it's
Okay.
1 hour only, but today we had introduction and we also
It's okay.
started
Please,
little bit
please.
late, right? 5 minutes.
Yeah, please.
So we will
Please
complete
continue.
as early as possible. Sorry for the delay. I hope you are all okay to continue for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Please.
Okay,
Please.
Mataji. Okay.
Okay. Fine. Then he describes, so then after description of both the armies, and he shows that confidence that we are in a better position. And then to encourage Duryodhan, Bhishma blew his conch shell. So usually conch shells are blown in temples also, right? To show when we try to worship the Lord, when then the conch shells will be blown. Even in the temples during the Arati time, when the Arati begins, before that the conch shells will be blown, right? So Bhishma is also a great devotee of Krishna, but everybody thinks that Bhishma is a villain, but he is a hero. He is a great devotee of Krishna. Still, he is fighting on the side of Duryodhana against Krishna, against Pandavas, just to assist Krishna in giving an important lesson. So, what is that lesson? Important lesson to the whole world. What is that lesson? The lesson is, however great you are, however influential you are, however powerful you are, if you take the side of adharma, you will have to be defeated. So that is the lesson Krishna wants to teach to the whole world. So that so Krishna wanted to prove this point to the whole world, and he used Bhishma as an instrument. And Bhishma very humbly acted as an instrument in the hands of Krishna. But otherwise, Bhishma is the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna. So then Bhishma blew his conch shell, and later Pandavas also blew their conch shells. And here Sanjaya mentions the names of the conch shells of uh, Krishna and Arjuna. So Krishna talks about the conch shells of Arjuna and Sanjaya talks about the names of the conch shells of Arjuna and Krishna. Um, so then they all blew the conch shells, and when they blew the conch shells, what happened? Uh, when Kauravas blew the conch shells, nothing happened to Pandavas, and they were, because they were very secure. Whoever takes shelter of Krishna experience that fearlessness and security and happiness. But those who are against Krishna cannot be fearless, right? They are fearful, just like Duryodhana was fearful. So after their hearts shattered, Kuru's heart shattered by hearing the sound of the conch shells of Pandava's side. But still, Duryodhana, being diplomatic, he hide all his fears. That is one other thing that we can notice. And then Arjuna gives 4 reasons not to fight. This is the fifth topic. So Dhritarashtra's inquiry is completed, and Duryodhana compared both the armies is completed, and then blowing up of conch shells is completed. And so Arjuna, observing the armies, 1 second. So Arjuna gives 4 reasons not to fight. So we will see all the 4 reasons. So Arjuna is compassionate, and Arjuna sees no enjoyment in killing the relatives. Arjuna is fearful of the sin. Arjuna is also fearful of destruction of family traditions. So these are the 4 reasons Arjuna gives to Krishna. Uh, so compassion is on the bodily platform. So compassion for the relatives. So when Arjuna asked Krishna to take his chariot in the middle of all the armies to observe who has come to support the evil-minded Duryodhana. So then after seeing all the relatives, fathers, grandfathers, sons, etc., he developed some bodily symptoms out of compassion. So his limbs quivering, his mouth is drying up, his body is trembling, his hairs are standing, and his bow, Gandiva, is slipping. And skin is burning, and he cannot stand, his mind is reeling, and he sees all misfortune because all the relatives will be died in the battle, right? So that's why he feels very overwhelmed with compassion. So, and he gives one reason is compassion, because I see all relatives, because Kauravas, Pandavas, both of them are from the same family, and because of the war they have divided, but otherwise they're all from the same family, right? You all know about it, right? They're all Kurus only. They are from Kuru dynasty only. So, so Arjuna sees and he feels compassionate for their relatives, and that's one of the reasons he says, "I don't want to fight" to Krishna. He will talk to Krishna and says that I don't want to fight, and he also says there is no enjoyment. After even winning the battle, because all my relatives will die, because usually it's like that, right? When you buy a home or you buy a car and you have some happiness in your life, you want to share it with your relatives. So if you don't have relatives, there is no pleasure, right? If you have passed an exam, or you got a job, or you bought a home, so you always want to celebrate, right, with relatives. And Arjuna says, I don't see any enjoyment if all my relatives die in the battle, even I get the kingdom back. So that is another reason that he talks about. And the third reason is the family traditions will be destroyed. So who will come to who from the family comes to the war? Usually the elderly people who are soldiers, right? They will come for the war, for fighting, from all the families. And if that person is not going back after the war, if he is dead, then that family, who will take care of that family? Usually the children, women, and the elderly people will be remaining in the family, and the family person who is taking care of them, he will not be there after the battle. Then destruction of family traditions will happen, because there is no elderly person in the family. The woman will be exploited. So some bad people will misbehave with women, and unwanted progeny, varna sankara happens. And because of the varna sankara, they do not know who their father is, and they don't give the pindadan and all the traditions that they have to follow. And they also will not be developing good character and all. So that is one reason that Arjuna gives to Krishna. And the other reason is fear of sin. The last reason is fear of sin. So he says there is sin in killing aggressors. So he is calling Duryodhana and party as aggressors. So aggressors are nothing but Atatayina in Sanskrit. So as per Bhagavad Gita, there are 6 kinds of aggressors: who gives poison, who sets fire to house, who attacks with weapons, who plunders riches, who occupies land, and who kidnaps wife. And all of these are done by Kauravas. So that's the reason why they're called as Atatayina. So if you kill such kind of Atatayina, there will be sin incurred, is what is the point Arjuna is making. So greedy men see no fault in killing relatives, but we do. So he is calling Duryodhana and party as greedy, because they are greedy of the kingdom which belongs to Pandavas, right? So he's calling as greedy men. They see no fault in killing relatives. They will fight and they will make all of us die. But we are not greedy, right? So why should we get that sin? Why should we attain that sin, is what is the point made by Arjuna. So fear of sin is the third reason. And fourth reason that we discussed is effects of family destruction. So destruction of dynasty, if the uh, important person, elderly person in the family who is taking care of that family is died in the battle, then family traditions stop. Then family traditions stop, adharma increases, and women will be exploited, and varna sankara happens. Children will be spoiled, and there will be no worship. So this is the fourth reason Arjuna gives. So with these 4 reasons, he says, I don't want to fight Krishna. So compassion, no enjoyment, fear of sin, destruction of family traditions. So this is the fifth topic of the first chapter. So we'll be concluding this, but I wanted to explain how do we implement this learnings of first chapter in our day-to-day lives, both professionally and personally. If you have 5 more minutes, we will discuss. Otherwise, we'll park it for the next class. So you are all
Please
clear,
continue.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So these are the 5 topics that we have discussed. Dhritarashtra's question to Sanjaya, and Duryodhana compares the armies, and by blowing of conch shells from both the sides, signs of Pandava's victory were shown. And then after going to the middle of the armies, Arjuna gets confusion by seeing all the relatives, and he has told 4 reasons that I don't want to fight Krishna. So this is about first chapter. And we might extend 5 minutes. If you are all okay, then we can go with what can be the learnings for us in both professional and personal lives from this
Yes,
first
fine.
chapter. Or we can go with question and answers, whatever is comfortable for you. I know some of them are already dropped. Maybe we can continue, or I can share the recording. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, few minutes.
Yeah, continue.
Yes.
Mataji,
Yes.
can you please in out?
Jitendra Prabhu, you were saying something?
Yes, ma'am. We can
Rajendra.
go for the session, ma'am. Mataji.
Okay. Somebody else has any question?
Mata, may I have one question, please?
Yeah, yeah.
Rajendra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rajendra
out
Prabhu.
of this 700, who asked or said the total number of shlokas? Can you please the list, please, once?
I will show that. Prabhu. So we'll complete this and we'll come back to that. So
Yeah.
chapter 1 is called as Arjuna Vishada Yoga in Telugu and observing the armies in English. So Arjuna faces moral and emotional crisis. So the stage is set for Krishna's teaching. So now in the second chapter, Krishna's teachings will start. And so emotions should not override duty. So that is the first learning from this chapter. So Arjuna is overwhelmed by attachment and sorrow, attachment to the relatives, and he became sorrowful. And he also forgets his duty as a kshatriya. So that is what we have seen in the first chapter. So Arjuna is overwhelmed by attachment, and when he saw the relatives, he says he forgets the duty. He doesn't want to fight because he doesn't want to harm his own relatives. So application in our professional lives, so maybe there will be some emotional situations even in our work, right? For example, if you have a team member as a close friend, you have to do a performance feedback, then how will you do it? So you will think about your close friend and give a top rating? No, right? So your emotional situations will not be impacting your professional duty. So you should go objectively, and you should think as a duty as a duty, not mix up the emotions into duty. So that is something. So Arjuna, so the teachings will be given by Krishna in the next chapter. So Arjuna is overwhelmed by attachment because he has seen relatives. But he did not, he forgot the actual purpose. Krishna wants to re-establish the dharma by removing the weeds of adharma like Duryodhan. So that is the purpose of it, and he forgot the purpose. So that is his duty, but he forgot the duty of fighting as Kshatriya, and he got attached to the relatives. So that should not be the case even for us in a professional life. And in personal lives, you can make wise choices for long term benefit. For example, disciplining a child with love despite feeling bad in the moment. So we always so nowadays every parent do not want to hurt their children. They don't want to discipline them because they may not be feeling happy, and parents are not happy disciplining the child, right? But you should think about long term benefit and about your duty as a parent. So you want your children to be developing as a good citizens, and they want to you want them to be succeeded in their lives. That is the long term benefit. You should think of it. And you can discipline a child with love, even you feel bad in that moment, right? So that should be the application. Even though you love your child, you should discipline because of the long term benefit that you want to see for your child. And avoid escapism is something that we can learn. So Arjuna wants to renounce and escape battle. So he says, I don't want to fight, right? He wants to escape from that battle. Krishna disapproves of escapism from responsibility. His responsibility is to fight, but he says 4 reasons and he says, I don't want to fight, right? He wants to escape from that. And Krishna is not approving that. And how do we apply in our professional and personal lives? Don't quit when facing stress. So, for example, if you are overloaded with work, or if you have struggle in doing your work, and you are a team lead, you have a lot of deadlines to complete. So instead of escaping and saying that I cannot do, so you can see what can you do? So restructuring the tasks, or you can delegate it to somebody, or you can negotiate with your manager saying that this is the only possibility, etc. Right? So this is responding to that situation instead of escaping from that. And in the personal lives, facing challenges than avoiding them. For example, husband and wife have some marital issues. Instead of silent treatment or thinking of separation, that is the worst case scenario, right? That should not be the first. So you should be openly talking about it and face the challenge, understand each other, talk to each other, and then resolve the conflict instead of thinking straight away that I want to get separated, right? So that is one of the examples I'm giving, but there may be several others, but I'm just taking one example so that you can correlate. And the next thing is seeking guidance when in confusion. So Arjuna is now confused, right? Arjuna turns to Krishna in the next chapter. So he accepts Krishna as his guru, and acknowledging confusion is the first step to clarity. So now that he says that I am confused, I have these reasons to fight, he has clarity of why he doesn't want to fight. It's not that okay, he got overwhelmed and he said he is not going away from the battlefield. He is explaining Krishna that I don't want to fight Krishna because of these four reasons, and he's giving the justification, acknowledging that confusion as a first step. And Arjuna also, as a next step, he will accept Krishna as a guru. And how do we apply in our daily lives? So we approach mentors, not react emotionally. For example, if you are in a career dilemma, you're up for a promotion in your career and you did not get it, and what do? Instead of just saying, okay, I did not receive this promotion, let me go ahead and resign, which is not a right decision. So you have to consult a mentor rather than making a hasty decision. So you have to ask your mentor, you have to identify who can help you in from coming out of that situation, etc. Right? So like Arjuna is going to Krishna and approaching him as a guru. So we also need to have consult mentors the when instead of reacting emotionally when there is a need. And in your personal lives, you can also take advice from your senior family members for any financial planning, or and go to experts in the family, friends, etc. Right? Who can act as a guides if there is any confusion. So seeking guidance when in confusion is very important. So you need to have mentors at workplace and advisors personally in the friend circle and the family. So that is something which we can learn from this first chapter. And importance of perspective. So Arjuna sees relatives on both sides and gets confused. Emotional involvement clouds judgment. So for example, we need to be staying objective in conflict resolution. For example, if there are conflicts between two people within your office, or you have a conflict with your manager, so handling a dispute between two different people. So one is your friend and one is your team member. So even both of them are your team members. One is your close friend, one is a normal team member. So instead of getting biased and taking friendships into place when resolving a conflict, you have to go by facts. Focusing on facts, staying on the objective is very much important at workplace. And at personal life, step into other shoes during arguments. So for example, you need to understand the situation. So if you any of you have teenage kids, so understanding your teen stress. So when they are undergoing a lot of stress in terms of hormonal changes, and there are so many transitions that happen from school to college, and so many different subjects that they are new subjects that are coming into picture, and new friends, etc., etc. Right? So they may be undergoing a lot of stress, and instead of asking them, okay, why are you not studying, you're arguing with them, your study hours are coming down, you are not getting good marks. Don't go into that argument mode. Instead, support them. uh, Understand why they are behaving like that instead of getting into an argument and spoil the relation. So understand the situation, and then by getting into their shoes. So when you were a teenager, or if you were a teenager, how would you react for that so many things that are going on in their lives. So instead of argumenting and spoiling the relation, you can sit together, understand the problem, and support them come out of it is important. So that is the application, that is a perspective that we need to develop. The last one is admitting weakness to grow. This is something which is difficult for all of us, right? So we don't want to admit our weakness. If we don't know in something, we are not very open to say that I don't know. We cannot be honest in all the situations, right? So Arjuna sits down and admits helplessness. Now that Arjuna sits down, after all the reasons given by Arjuna, he sits down and says, I don't want to fight Krishna. And he is very emotional and tears are falling down on the cheeks, and his situation is very pathetic, and he admits that to Krishna. So the same way, when you have to apply, acknowledge the gaps and seek help. For example, so you moved into a new job where you are not familiar with the subject or the department or anything of that kind, or unfamiliar frameworks you have to use and things like that. There will be a learning curve involved, right? Instead of pretending that I know everything, you tell your manager or tech lead or a team lead, you can tell them, okay, I am new to this, I want to learn, I need help in gaining this knowledge, etc., right? So acknowledging that gaps and seeking help is important. And at personal lives, be honest to strengthen relationships. Saying that I am for example, you are overwhelmed with work and you are not able to perform some activities at home, instead of creating the conflicts with spouse and children, you can admit, okay, I am helpless, I need some support. If you don't get 100% support, that's fine, but at least 50% of support you will get from your family. They don't disturb you, that creates some peace. And you are planning for a outing and you also had to undergo an important task at your work, and they're not giving you leave, etc., right? So you can tell your family the helpless situation and be honest and seek support. So that is something which we can learn from Arjuna. He is seeking support and he admits that helplessness. So these are the learnings that we can implement from the first chapter in our daily professional and personal lives. So with that, we'll close the session. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. So you're all clear? No questions? So any feedback is also welcome, because you mentioned all of you have already read Bhagavad Gita and know about Bhagavad Gita. And this session helped you in any way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Mata.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone has any questions?
Just now I asked that number of shlokas. I have the list. Is it correct or not? At least you please confirm once.
Yeah, I will confirm. 1 second. Just looking for that information. I thought of sharing with you also. One second, Prabhu. I'm searching for that. So maybe I'll stop recording. Thank you so much. But all of you can leave if you don't have questions. Rajendra Prabhu, you stay on. I'll give you the details.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Thank you so much for joining today's session. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrinda ki jai.